Alright, welcome to this video. This is another review. Is that like blurry for some reason? I don't know. Seems a little blurry, but it's hard to tell. Anyway, I've got a 15-minute and 50-second time clock going down, and I'm waiting for my girlfriend to come home. She went to Springfield with her mom, and she doesn't come back by 4, then I've got to go to my parents without her, and then text her, see when she gets home, so I can potentially take her there. There's a whole bunch of mess. Anyway, I just got off work an hour ago. I'm home alone, so I figured, what better time to get a review in? Also, just on a side note, I used to wear jeans 24/7, when I was literally up until I met my girlfriend, which was 2 years ago, so I was 22, essentially, for over almost 2 decades. I literally wore jeans nonstop. And then I started wearing my sweatpants way too much. My senior 2015 gray sweatpants, and then she got me Harry Potter ones. And so at Walmart, I bought new sweatpants, and they're red. Ignore all the fuzz, So now I've got another pair of sweatpants, other than my Harry Potter ones that I've just kind of been living in, really. When I'm not at work, when I'm at work, I'm in jeans. But anyway, that's enough of that. On to the review. I am here to review a book. I've been wanting to review a book for so long. It's just I've been so busy with games, life, and everything else, writing my own book, that I haven't had time to really read a book. Well, I read this book a long time ago, and if you actually watched my Resident Evil... Oh, let me grab it. It's right here. I just got it. Okay, Pokemon's. You need to get out of the way. Vulpix and Charmander did not... If you saw my Let's Play on Leon's campaign for Resident Evil 2 Remake, I did go into detail, fairly specific detail, about the game. Or not about the game. Yeah, I went into specific detail about the game when playing the game. Yeah, no. Anyway, if you go and watch the Leon Let's Play, or the Leon campaign half of Resident Evil 2 Remake, I do in-depth talk about that book. Why? Because I was reading the book at that time, actually. So it was really fresh in my mind most of the time. There were a couple sections where they were kind of a week after, so they weren't that fresh. But anyway, yeah, the review is on Resident Evil Volume 3, City of the Dead, by S.D. Perry, and this is book 3 of 7, I think. I think there's a 7th one. Because I have this book, I have Umbrella Conspiracy? The Umbrella Conspiracy, which is the first book. I have Underworld, because it's got Leon and Claire on top of it, and I have Code Veronica, because it's Claire and Leon are my favorite characters in the series. I do not have the Rebecca Chamber books, which is Caliban Cove and Zero Hour. Obviously, one's about Resident Evil 0, and the other one's an original story, just like Underworld is. And then, of course, there's Nemesis, which is based off the third game. And as you can tell, this one is based off of the second game, so it's in Leon's perspective, it's in Claire's perspective, and I believe there's also Ada's chapters. I don't think there are Sherry chapters, to my memory. I was always expecting a Sherry chapter, but it never happened. And then there's also Annette chapters. So that threw me for a loop. Like, Leon and Claire, you expect to see their perspective, and obviously the beginning portion of this book is vastly different to the game, both games, really. Because, Leon's late to go to the police station, goes to the gas station, meets Claire there, and all that. And this one, they don't meet up that way. In fact, Claire goes to a diner to find Chris, because she knows that's the only place Chris really goes. He's, according to her, I think he's very recluse, and he goes to that diner more than anything. So she went to the diner expecting to find him, but only to find the town's very eerie and very, desolate. There's not very many people out for a city. She's expecting it to be nightlife, really. She's expecting nightlife, but there's not really any nightlife. So when she gets to the diner, everything's suspicious, obviously. But so the very beginning of this book is different. Obviously, Leon does go into town and eventually meets up with Claire. um, and I distinctly, there's another section I distinctly, like, I remember a lot about the book in vague details. Like, I remember the first encounter of the liquor in a Claire chapter. That is something I realized. That they throw so much more at Claire than they do Leon in this book. Is that sunlight? Really? Sunlight coming through? Whoa. Whoa. I'm distracted so easy. Anyway, yeah, they throw. Claire has so many more cooler moments than Leon in this book, which I find hilarious. He's the cop. You're not sure she's trained by Chris. Chris has shown her some stuff, but she's not trained like Leon is. So you think Leon would get those moments, but no, it's Claire. Claire gets the liquor moment. Right? I don't think Leon ever runs into a liquor in this book. Claire gets the Mr. X moment. Right? I think Leon does have a Mr. X moment. I think. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a hot minute since I've read this book. It's just burning in my mind that I want to do a review of it because I really love it. And here's the thing. Because I know how finicky fans can be. If it's not 100% exact, that they don't want it. Like with the remake, it was 100% 1-to-1 exact, like the original Resident Evil remake, so people didn't like it for that reason. But obviously there's a crap ton more people who did like it because they never played it or was willing to forgive and forget or enjoyed the changes themselves. Like me, never played Resident Evil 2, never had the chance. Now I do. And I'm not very good at the tank control, so I don't know how well I would do in the original game to begin with. But, enough of the video game. But, yeah, so they meet up different in this book. They give more, I don't want to say more personality to Ada. Because, Ada's supposed to be mysterious, and she's supposed to kind of have that kind of mysterious quirk personality to it. She's supposed to seem cool without seeming over exuberant. I remember that now. The love plot line between Ada and Leon. How throughout this entire book, Ada is torn. She's conflicted. She just wants to use Leon and throw him away. That's all she wants to do. She wants to use him and throw him away. But then Leon keeps doing all these fucking things and saving her, like the crocodile thing. That's a very cool moment for Leon in the book, the crocodile thing. He's like, go on ahead, jumps down, runs away from a crocodile, gets up this thing, I think, and shoots a red barrel that it gets stuck in its mouth. And that's a really cool moment. And Ada's like, oh, wow, that guy did all of that just essentially for me, Leon keeps doing stuff that stumps Ada. That makes Ada double think her plan. Because like I said, all she wants to do is use him and throw him away. At the last ditch him and then it turns into her just wanting to ditch him at like the last second because she doesn't want to throw him away anymore. She just wants to ditch him. Because she's got to escape. But she keeps falling for him. For lack of a better term, she's essentially falling for Leon throughout the events that unfold, and she can't help it. And I find that to be one of probably the most intriguing thing to me. Obviously, if you're in this, it was certainly weird for me going into it because Claire literally gets like, I don't want to say 80, maybe 65% of the action scenes. really good action scenes. Leon gets a couple here and there, don't get me wrong. Like, obviously, he gets some Mr. X action. Now that I remember, yeah, I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, he's the. I remember at the end of the book now. Because I think she gets hurt somehow on the train. And then Leon, you know, runs and barely makes it onto the train, just like in, the games. And so he takes the shotgun and stuff while Claire stays behind with Sherry and goes and confronts. Oh God, what's his name? Birkin. Yeah, Birkin. You know. Oh yeah, I think Birkin, is terrorizing them both, but he doesn't really like. I forget who runs into him first. I can't remember if it's Claire or Leon. Either way, they both interact with Birkin. Annette's chapters I don't remember all that much. And her sections don't even start till like over halfway through the book. Like, this book's 300, 400 pages? What is it? It's definitely 300 something. It's 326 pages. So Annette doesn't even start through halfway through the book. I'm pretty sure her first chapter is like in chapter 100 something, or page 100 something. But anyway, another moment I remember is, the slimy cop. Oh God, I can't forget. How do I forget his name? I don't know. It's Chief Irons. And Chief Irons and the whole thing with Sherry and Chief Irons down in the thing. It's when she goes into his office or whatever, and she goes down, and Chief Irons then I think goes down or whatever, and she goes down the elevator into like this really random decked out room, and she left Sherry up there to keep her safe, and she runs into Irons, I think, and Irons pretty much has her outmaneuvered, has her at gunpoint and everything, and then I think, it's really cool, like more stylized sequence of what happens in the original game. The hand coming out of the ground, or Birkin's hand coming out of the ground and grabbing him. It's like a very more stylized version of that, and then I think Claire hears Birkin's roar, and she's like, alright, I need to get the hell out of here. But anyway, yeah, I need to wrap this up. It's at 12 minutes, and like I said, I've got 15 minutes and 50 seconds to do this. But overall, this book is really good. I think it's well paced, to be honest with you. Between it juggling 4 characters, because you're reading from Leon's perspective, from Claire's perspective, Ada's, and Annette's, right? And so I think it juggles them all nicely into like the very end or whatever. And of course the epilogue is not even in their perspective. I think it's from Rebecca's, or third person or something like that. I don't know. Either way, when they escape and they get into a van with Rebecca Chambers and 2 other people. Hi, Momo. But anyway, yeah, I knew going in that this would be my favorite book in the series. Out of all of her books, I knew this would be my favorite. Probably because Claire and Leon are my favorite characters in the whole series. And Resident Evil 2, even though I never played it, was always kind of my ideal favorite game of the series. So I knew I had to get this book first out of the 7 or 6. I forget how many there are now. But yeah, I knew I had to get this one first. And like I said, I do own The Umbrella Conspiracy, Underworld, and Code Veronica. And I will read them. And I'm actually currently reading Umbrella Conspiracy. I'm on a very long hiatus in reading the book, but that's par for the course. Anyway, I would highly recommend this book to any Resident Evil fan. Hell, I would recommend this book to any horror fan. And you don't even need to read Zero Hour or The Conspiracy Theory, The Umbrella Conspiracy, to read this one. Just pick it up, read it. You don't need to read anything before it. Sure, it helps in the context of the big grand scheme, but overall it's a standalone book, even though it's volume 3. But I would highly recommend it to any horror fan in general, but definitely any Resident Evil fan, especially Resident Evil 2 fans, if they haven't already read it, or get an Audible of it, if there is one. But I think that's going to be it for this episode. Hope you have a great day. Remember, only you could be the best you could possibly be. If you like the video, give it a like, comment if you love it, super special, awesome. Subscribe if you haven't. That'd really me out. And ta-ta for now.